Hey, Kay Champo here. Today I heard it's March. I heard the administration give. I think they're giving out a list of paperwork or a nice formal list of things. Sorry, I don't do things as formally as I should. I do move around a lot. But please stay focused as I explain some of these things. I have not read yet what was put out. I would like to have it mailed to my home. So what you guys do is take all the addresses of the U.S. Census, even have people go around. I don't know if people can get paid to, or if somebody wants to take a walk around a certain area in safety. You know, they can have not an escort. I use these terms very modestly because they have been used inappropriately sometimes, or appropriately, or overused. So I make this quick. I'm going to bounce back and forth from subject to subject, but when it comes to health, let's not forget to wash our bodies. So a lot of things are focused on, wash your hands, but again, with proper soap that hopefully the government is working on giving, that is federally approved and up to health code and health standard for people, even cleaning products. And no one should be judging anyone right now, even if someone's floors are dirty, or if their clothes aren't clean or smelling good. They probably don't have appropriate soap. A lot of things are being taken off the shelves, which is a good thing. I can touch on consumerism really quick. I'm not, I never thought I would say to go consume things. I've been a consumer, but for a different purpose than what people would think. So when showering, someone or some idea came to me to actually, if I have sandals on that have been outside, and if there are germs on my sandals, I can use antibacterial soap on my body, and it goes and it showers, and it goes down, and I could clean my sandals as well while I'm standing in the shower. Just make sure you guys are, it's not slippery, stuff like that. So the change your filters. So people in your home, you guys, or wherever you're at, or facilities and all that kind of stuff. The filters in air conditioning systems, even for heating systems, and even just filters in general. If you guys have the small HEPA filters or any kind of filters that are even with laundry, if I have a laundromat or a laundry area, make sure that you guys change out the lint and clean any filters as much as possible. Be careful with your fingers because when rubbing certain things, keep your drains clean. A lot of it is basic common stuff that we might have lost amongst the years. Behavioral habits are what we should be focusing on. Younger kids and people observe, even elderly people, even the middle-aged people, people in their 20s, teenagers, they all observe what one another do, and they also know cause and effect. So they're like, if this person is doing that, then if they wear a nice collared shirt and stuff, they get treated a little bit better. If they do their hair nicer, or if they shower and that kind of stuff. So back to just devices, I'm very proud, and I would like to say thank you to the iPad people and everyone who started to use the small alcohol wipes on them. Now, when it comes to chemicals and on the human body, the chemicals you have to adapt to chemicals. So I don't want anyone to be afraid of chemicals when it comes to the way they feel on your skin and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to soap and even smells. So this goes into allergies. I'm trying to write things down and put them in an orderly fashion, but it's really difficult. So I'm just trying to get this out as quick as possible without reading what was already done via our administration and our government, with the people who do editing for simplistic things to make our world a healthier place. So I think everyone's doing a great job. I don't want to be, Miss Motivational over here, but Trump, I think he's answering questions appropriately. Also, how great to have backup personnel to address certain issues with, like the guy that speaks on the diseases and the viruses and all that stuff that's going around. No one should really be afraid. I mean, this stuff has been happening. A lot of it is just basic self-care. I know that can be hard for kids, but going back to allergies really quick, you guys have to test allergies for yourselves. So what you guys would do is do checks, not checks and balances necessarily. You guys would you guys could write things down and say, if I put this on my skin, then the next day it bothers me or my hand turns red. Same goes for food. With allergies, these tests have already been done. With eggs and milk, and some kids are like, ew, ice cream, well, it might not be the ice cream. The ice cream might have sat in someone's car and then refrozen and then unfrozen. You guys have to be careful with food handling. So I'm hoping, it seems like everyone's handling the food as with as much care as possible, that they can do, and as in a quick fashion, to get people the salt and sugar and things that are needed for their body to digest, even to calm people down, and just for basic health. If people have adapted and acclimated to certain types of foods, then they should get those certain types of foods. So I'm hoping Amazon, hi Jeff, I hope Amazon and I hope Jeff is actually taking over on this, and hopefully he's going to create a team that can do the history of Amazon and Amazon orders, and also the history of Amazon orders, in which areas certain items went. I think enough with the small businesses. I think people did a great job in minimally trying to create and to branch out and to do personalized businesses. I think it's a beautiful thing when people create, especially a lot of the bakery stuff. How wonderful. But things do have to be handled properly, and with taxes and all that kind of stuff. Again, I don't have all the numbers. This is just what I'm speaking on is the top of the line, and as basic as possible, without numbers, without a lot of things. And so also, this sounds really weird. My friend made fun of my mom, actually. She said, your mom cleans her vacuum, like she's cleaning her vac. And I said, yeah, the vacuum gets dust on it and you have to change out things and things like that. And so if you don't have to vacuum and stuff, but even cars, the oil in people's cars can actually carry the virus. It can carry not just the virus, necessarily not necessarily, I'm not speaking on coronavirus, but the oil can actually go bad, and it can go rotten. So if you think of any type of chemical in a sense of time that it can go bad, kind of like setting milk out and how it gets sour and it tastes different, that same goes for oil in cars. So that goes to the mechanics and all the auto people out there. I say I'm actually going to go ahead and say to leave the restaurants open, because you guys need to consume. You guys need to get rid of and get out everything. So how great for the fast food restaurants to be putting out coupons and saying, hey, we have a bunch of tacos over here, come and get some, 2 for $3 type thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. It is more difficult for restaurants, especially when you get into the finer restaurants and stuff like that. But things need to, even candy at movie theaters needs to be taken care of. Otherwise, unfortunately, if we don't shake all the gummy candy, then it can get bacteria in there in some way, shape, or form. Especially if the virus or any virus or bacteria is traveling via airborne. So if you guys think about that, the packaging, even if something is packaged too airtight and it's not up to code and it's gonna go rotten, then if you open it, the disease any disease will go, it'll pop out and it'll go into people's lungs. And it'll go in, and there are such thing as and this is not to cause a stir, but the health, the disease control can actually take care of this one. I think when it comes to health, as well as brain surgeons need to step in on this conversation when it comes to brain. I hate to say it, neurologically speaking, brain. If the brain is a muscle, then we need to use it, that type of thing, not just by thinking but by moving. Movement is super important. And so when it comes to brain diseases, I would like someone to step in and take over on the viruses and the bacterial infections that can go in the air, and people it can go up through their nose and go into their brain. I'm going to touch on health physically speaking with the human body really quick. What needs to be done is actually the wounds. Wounds are important, right? So even in the mouth, like in the ears, if people have open wounds, they need to be covered. The virus and the diseases, the bacteria, all of that will go into the people's wounds, and it will actually it will probably cause more abscesses, and the doctors and the surgeons and the emergency rooms might be seeing more green infections coming out of human bodies, which no one should worry about. Those are easily taken care of to be taken out of the people and killed with a certain chemical, which is called isopropanol. But I don't know if you guys are changing that. You guys can check and review my history of what I have bought that has helped me keep and be as healthy as I possibly can. And so open wounds need to be taken care of. That is super important. Like, people don't even the covering, people are using the mask to cover their ears and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna set outside. People are using the mask to cover their ears and their noses and stuff, because it's a human nature type thing when we have these type of diseases. Also, this has to go to the landscaping committees. Hopefully we have people working with the farmers and all the farm industry regarding pesticides, but not just pesticides, but the under the land and the dirt it gets diseased as well. So we're not talking just this virus going into human beings and traveling airborne. It's actually embedding in soil. And so the soil is going to have to be, again, I already said this, things are going to have to be rototilled. Good job on cleaning out facilities. And I say give Trump I say full authority to go through all of these buildings, because it is, if we do things lawfully and carefully, and talk to the people and get their stories. I met a man in downtown LA, and he was like, I just want a Subway sandwich, like just a Subway sandwich. And I said, okay, so if that will appease one human being, also, to chat with him and get his story. And he's like, oh, I'm from Mississippi, and other people are like, I'm from Missouri, and this is this. Get them at least not back to their families necessarily, but get them connected, and so, and get their stories, and maybe apologies need to be made, because people have made a lot of mistakes in their past. A lot of people probably have a lot of things to say to one another, but you guys can do it in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be a physical apology or necessarily even a confession. I do have a lot of not feelings in love or anything like that towards Italy, but I do understand about Italy already went through this, like, throwing the trash on the outside and stuff. They're like, what else? What am I supposed to do? Where's the trash guy? And so I always said that the trash men, they should be getting paid like a lot for what they do. When it comes to shots, though, they have to be same thing. If they're driving and they're breathing in all of these things that people are throwing out, and the diseases, and if they're not I don't want to say they have to be appropriately vaccinated, and the vaccines aren't going at a rate that they used to back in the day. I think Trump would even and his wives or whoever, I don't even know, his family stuff, will probably say that there was a schedule that everyone kind of abided by based on testing done and based on what human beings have already been through, and so the tetanus shot has to be given, because if there is rust in an area, which there usually is if there's moisture, and if there is iron or steel, so the most of the problems lie within the iron and the wrought irons and stuff like that, that we have to make sure that people are safe and away from, and so even with tires, I got, and yeah, that is my deal on a truck, paid for full and clear, guarantee you that, and so. When it comes to thievery as well, I could go into that, but we all just have to everyone has to have respect for one another, not necessarily individually, but just on a basic humane level. Good news, we still got birds flying around, which is always, good. If you see, I saw about 3 dead birds when I was they were on the sidewalk. No one was calling, and I saw a puppy. Puppy was just dead laying there, and people were stepping over the puppy, not on it. But I make those type of calls and stuff, and hopefully we have animal control out there to help, as well as the animals, because animals are important. Even the caretaking of dogs. I'm really proud to see the love that some people have, and the senses of humor have been pretty good based on what I've seen via the internet with cameras and with videos and stuff of people and how they're handling their animals and all that kind of stuff. As long as the bowls are changed, you guys got to always remember, treat, if you're going to treat them and love them as a human being, then go ahead and wash what they lay on, vacuum, do all those type of things. Make sure their bowls are clean, and make sure that their food doesn't have worms in it. And you guys got to just imagine and just say, you know what, I want someone to serve me something with worms at the bottom, and so I just scrape off the top. And so those little things, but how great for people to still be doing that. People have to work on emotional intelligence when it comes to being alone. Find other ways. There are always other ways. I know it's a very hard concept, psychologically speaking. But you guys could always put yourself in the shoes of Snow White and Cinderella and make the birds and the mice your friends. I had a tarantula actually living in the wall of my house, and I made friends with it. So little things like that. I know it can be scary to some people, but we always have to take into consideration also the droppings of any being. We have to all kind of make sure that stuff stays clear. And so, starting to rain. I'm going on like 17 minutes, but Kay Champo here. Well done to the Trump administration. Thank you for getting the information out. Again, dates are important, so I saw the date pop up on my television screen. I appreciate that very much, so that we're all on the same page. If not, regardless, the information that I give hopefully is on a basic humane level that can be listened to at any time, and that can be applied to people's lives, no matter where or what situation they're in, because all the stuff that we're doing now, even with aerospace, with animals, with all those things, are lessons learned and stories that can be passed down and reported on. So all the articles, I want people to still hopefully do periodicals. And give information on the research that has been done, along with basic stuff. So if I was to write a thesis paper again, always write the basic paragraph. I know it's difficult because a lot of things have been taken over. Even the millennials. I mean, everyone's super smart, no matter what generation X, Generation Y, baby boomers. Sorry, I have bugs. The millennial, everyone. And I can say it. I'm at the top of the millennial. But I'm also I try to connect and transfer information so that people get along. I have been a professional referee before, actually, and it's one of the toughest things to do. I do not like to do that at all. I hate to be the one that stands between people, because people should take care of their own things. I was joking with my mom the other day on a personal level. I said I feel like Trump's like, everyone go back to your corners. He's like go to your homes. No, I don't want to say go back to your own countries, because even for myself, what roots do I have in which can take me to other places that may need someone to even occupy things. I have a huge problem with Airbnb. They already know that. I spoke to someone from Airbnb directly. We actually had a huge, it got physical. And so I spoke to him directly, and I said there are too many loopholes, but what is done, and so we must move on and learn from those incidences, from those police reports that have been taken of going into your own home and finding someone in your bed. Some men, some women, some dogs. Anybody might say, hey, I got a nice warm partner. I have someone to keep me company. How great. But other people might get scared and do the opposite of extremeness, when honestly it just needs to be a basic communication of who's where and when and why. My biggest concern is that I understand the military, hopefully they're working on all of this, but placement, housing, placement with human beings. You have to know personal stories. No one should be in trouble for anything that they've done wrong to people. If someone's afraid, like, oh, I saw that guy spit in someone's clothes or on someone's clothes, like I never want to go back there, then that's fine. Those stories are okay because there's reason and rationale behind every behavioral move that people make. There are reasons that so my idea was not necessarily toll roads, but maybe the toll to pay is to give information. Why are you going to that home? And they're going to be like, oh, well, my grandma was making enchiladas and we were told to go. Simple answers like that to get people more in an orderly fashion. I am definitely not I'm against curfews actually, but if that's what needs to be done, but everything needs to be done with fair warning. You can't just go up to people and arrest people, or go up to people and say you're not abiding by law. Well, I wasn't given the law. What I'm being a basic human being. I'm abiding by human laws, and so now I'm in a different country, and what laws do they abide by? I probably could have gotten in a lot of trouble for doing some of the things that I've done in other countries, but I never did anything with bad intent or with disrespect or with unhealthy things in mind. I always try to put things in trash cans. I'm not in charge of everything, so all these events and stuff, like, what if everyone's like, hey, let's have a party? Okay, so they have a party, but yet, and all the trash is in the trash can, but yet the trash cans aren't getting taken out, and the trash sits there. And so even people are traveling, so people need to keep those things in mind. Also when it comes to traveling to other countries, when people travel to other countries and they get stuck, like I've seen a lot on the news, people are and on the cruise ships, they're like, and you guys don't know their personal story. Did they leave something in the fridge, like a lobster that can smell up the entire 3 miles of the block of where that person lives? Is there something, did someone go put something in the fridge? Or is there a dog or an animal or a hamster that needs food or needs their cage changed? Because if even as things as small as hamsters, if people still have hamsters in cages and gerbils and guinea pigs, all those fun little things, and I know ferrets are illegal still probably, but I don't know the laws exactly. I just know take care, use basic common sense, and everyone should be just fine. So Kay Champo. It is March 3rd. I don't know exactly. Anyway, it's 2020, and I got planes flying around and stuff like that, so I gotta go. Okay, bye.